How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, means a ton. You guys get plenty of fun stuff, not just Jujutsu Kaisen. We cover plenty of manga on the channel, so stick around, check it out, and see if anything else catches your interest. But with that being said, we got to get into it because we are talking about the curse technique of Reggie Star today. That's right, him and Megami just got done with their fight not too terribly long ago, so we might as well talk about his curse technique while he is fresh in our memory. So yeah, that's right, contractual recreation. His technique is honestly not that complex, and it kind of does exactly what it says. It recreates the items or objects on a contract. When it comes to modern day and a way that you can implement this, and the way that Reggie Star chooses to implement this, is with receipts. Yep, that's right, receipts count as contracts. So, I'm sure many of us know, you go to the store, go somewhere, wherever, buy something, and they will print out a receipt for you with that object and the price of it and everything else listed right there on top of it. So as long as Reggie has a receipt for an item, he can use his curse technique to burn up that receipt and recreate that item from it. This can extend all the way to cars, houses, all the way down to kitchen knives, plants and pots, simple things like that. Mopeds to scoot around on. These are fully functional objects, by the way. He used cars and houses as really, really expensive paperweights, but, I mean, it was very effective, but they are fully functioning cars and houses. Pretty wild. Something else he can do with these objects, because it would only be so useful if you could just summon things. Great, you can make a bunch of stuff. Honestly, if you're talking about going into something like the housing market, maybe actually not a bad idea. You get 2 houses for the price of 1. You buy a house, get the receipt, and make another house. Easy profit. Either way, yeah, when it comes to a fight, that's not necessarily super useful. So, something he can do is give the objects that he recreates simple orders, kind of like Shikigami. I think Megami could probably give his Shikigami like a little bit more broad orders than Reggie can, because he's literally ordering around like knives and pots and stuff. So yeah, I don't know how deep you can get with a knife compared to like a superpowered demon dog. I think superpowered demon dog has a little bit more intelligence than knife. But either way, he can give simple orders. So he can create a knife and tell it to fly forward at his target. Simple things like that, he ends up doing a lot. One of the more wild things that Reggie can do with this technique, in my opinion, is recreate something that actually isn't technically an object. So maybe I lied just a tiny bit earlier when I gave the vague definition or explanation of it, of recreating objects or items on receipts. Reggie can also burn up a receipt with cursed energy for a spa trip. 2 days, 3 nights with an oil treatment at a spa. And then his body basically comes out looking like he would, feeling like he would, if he had just gone to a spa for 2 days and 3 nights. He can just heal himself with receipts. One last thing I really need to mention about the technique though, and you've kind of heard me talk about it and mention it just a little bit throughout the video, is the condition of Reggie having to burn up the contracts with cursed energy. This is why Megami tried to get Reggie wet during their fight, because Reggie was wearing his receipts as clothing. If you get a receipt wet, paper wet, it's much harder to burn. This is why Megami was trying to get Reggie wet during their fight, so he could get the receipts wet, not Reggie himself, and then they couldn't be burnt up with cursed energy. It was also stated about how the water won't make the ink run immediately, so that won't necessarily stop him. But then being wet stops him from fulfilling the condition of burning them up with the cursed energy. However, the fact that they drew attention to the ink not running immediately does say that if they were to stay wet long enough and the ink did start to run, that would also cause the contract to be null and void. I'm going to make the assumption, it might have been stated, I can't remember, either way, that if the ink runs, then the item is no longer technically on that contract. It just becomes a piece of paper with running ink on it. If the ink no longer says kitchen knife, you can no longer summon a kitchen knife from that receipt. So water is a big enemy to this technique. And last thing that I want to talk about is not actually about the technique itself, but more of Reggie's implementation of it and wearing the receipts as clothing. That is actually really awesome. That's something I never, ever, ever would have thought of. And I absolutely love the fact that Gege Akutami thought of it and decided to make that his visual aesthetic and outfit is the receipts that he uses during or for his curse technique. That is just really cool and makes them so just easily available. Granted, it does also make them front and center for somebody like Megami to get wet, but it was really neat and I really like it. Definitely a very interesting implementation. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I spent way too much time trying to record something else before this that ended up having zero audio because, old boy here wasn't plugged in. Yeah, amateur move. Over a year into this and I'm still making those. I don't know what kind of sign that is. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I love talking to you guys and I respond to pretty much everyone. So, I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you next time. I'm out.